We're going to lead off today with a film from Oscar-winning director Steve McQueen, right? His latest film, which is hitting theaters this weekend, actually, it's not hitting theaters. I think it's hitting the streaming platform this weekend. Is called Blitz, which is a historical war drama written, produced, and directed by Steve McQueen. The film stars Saoirse Ronan, Harrison Dickinson, and Elliot Heffernan in his film debut. And it tells
Mm.
the story of a defiant young boy who goes on an adventure. I don't know if that's the way I would describe it, but he goes on an adventure in London during World War II, only to find himself in immense peril amidst the Blitz while his distraught mother searches for him. Taking a break there for a second, Charles, because I'm pushing back on this description. I saw this movie, and so did you. Adventure? Is that what he had? I think it's more of a journey or an odyssey more than an adventure.
Yeah, yeah. Adventure means like kind of like he did kind of intentionally
Mm,
go on this journey. So
well, you heard me say journey or odyssey. I would not have used adventure. See, adventure to me sounds like it was lighthearted and fun, and what he went through was none of those things.
yeah,
So let me
yeah.
let me lead off with this
You
one.
think adventure, you're thinking Indiana Jones or something like that. Yeah, but no,
Nah, I don't know about an
not quite
adventure.
exactly. No.
Well, I wouldn't call it that. But let's talk about this film. So pretty much the film, the backdrop of the story, it takes place during 1940, and London is getting heavily bombed, or England, period, is getting heavily bombed by German forces, the Nazis, right? And they are, hitting these guys. It seems like every other night they're dropping bombs on England, right? And as the film begins, we see that there are facilities that they have, like usually subways or other places, movie theaters, they can get low. So when bombs come in, they can protect themselves. And in order to protect the youth, they decide to round up all the children and send them off so that they will be safe away from the bombing, which works well until Saoirse Ronan's son, who's played, I think his name is George, played by Elliot Heffernan,
Yes.
decides that he doesn't really understand why he's being sent off, and let's just say he jumps off of a train and decides that he's gonna come back home. No money, no food, no directions, Charles. Nothing. Go ahead.
I think it was more of the fact that he was a black boy going out to
Well, I
be
was
in the middle.
just,
Yeah,
you did it again. Step on
it's
me
not
again.
that it's not that he didn't understand why he wasn't going. It's that he just didn't want to be in that experience.
Right. So, and I buried that part. I was going to get to that, but Charles again being the eager beaver. Uh, he's of mixed race heritage, right? So father Jamaican, Saoirse Ronan Irish. She has this mixed race child. And to Charles's point, I think that adds another element to the story because when he's coming back, I believe his journey is a little different, Charles, if he's not mixed race, right? Because
Absolutely.
if he sort of fades in to like the situation, I mean, if he's like everybody else, he's sort of looked at as just like another kid. But by the fact that he's a little black kid, and then the thing that I thought was really interesting about it, and I'm not gonna I'm gonna stop at a certain point because I need to leave some to the imagination. But let's just say that he keeps encountering people, he keeps encountering adults, and there's some that are good and there's some that are not good. And he's too young to really distinguish between, people who are really trying to help him versus people who are trying to harm him. And I think that's the part that really adds tension but it's also very sad when you talk about the loss of innocence, right? Like, this kid is like innocent, and all of a sudden you meeting adults and they want you to do stuff, or you're thinking that these adults are trying to help you, and then you finding out you getting tricked. It was a really internally, Charles, it was really a difficult movie to watch because you think about you got kids, or you think about your young nieces, your young nephews. You don't ever want anybody young to have the experiences this kid has to go through in this movie. And then on top of that, also add in this element of all this death around him with these bombs exploding and all these things that he has to do. I just think it's a really good concept of a screenplay, and I think it's a really good idea. And the fact that the movie made me at least feel some kind of way tells me that Steve McQueen was very effective in his storytelling. I thought it was a really good screenplay. It served as the opening night film I think we saw like a month ago at the Middleburg Film Fest. And it stuck with me, man, because you and I have not had a chance to talk about the film since we watched it. But I like Blitz, man. I really did. I thought it worked well, but all I could say is walking out that theater was that poor kid, man. He sees stuff at 9 years old that no 9-year-old kid should see, or experiences thing that no 9-year-old kid should experience. Charles?
It was a dark time, and he went through a dark experience. But I think we need to give credit to Elliot Heffernan. This was his first acting job ever. He was picked out of a process of photos and interviews. And he knocked it out of the park. He's a handsome little guy, uh, and he knew how to just communicate emotions in this film that you just was. I haven't seen adult actors to be this effective in communication and acting, and he carries a lot of the movie because I mean it's about his journey uh back to Saoirse Ronan, his mother Rita. But I mean, he does a fantastic job in this movie. I know that it's a combination of acting and direction, but it just worked in this film extremely well. Extremely well.
All right, man. So I'm giving this movie a B plus. I really like this story a lot. What about you, Charles?
I gave it a straight B. There were a couple things in there that just was infuriating. um, there were times, and I guess it might have been the point of the movie where at the very beginning, you're like this kid is stupid, and then and as you get through, he's like not stupid anymore. But okay, but yeah, all right. I gave it a straight B.
No, I got you, man. All right, man. So that movie opens up on Apple, I think, this weekend, and we highly recommend you check that one out.